For millions of cycles, the Galactic Coalition had observed the rise and fall of civilizations with cold precision. Entire species were catalogued, analyzed, and ranked according to threat potential. Most were deemed harmless. Some were dangerous. A rare few were classified as unstable. But only one designation existed beyond all others: Category Red. It was reserved for theoretical horrors, cosmic anomalies, runaway artificial intelligences, and entities capable of erasing star systems. No biological species had ever been assigned that classification. Until humanity. The moment Earth's first faster-than-light probe breached interstellar space, ancient monitoring arrays across the galaxy activated. Thousands of autonomous observation systems redirected their attention toward a small blue planet orbiting an average yellow star. At first, the data seemed unimpressive. A fractured species. Constant internal conflict. Environmental instability. Primitive technology. But deeper analysis revealed something deeply unsettling. Human progress did not move in smooth curves. It leapt in violent surges. War accelerated innovation. Disaster fueled unity. Every collapse became a foundation for something stronger. Where most species stagnated after reaching comfort, humans thrived in crisis. Their psychological architecture transformed fear into momentum, pain into adaptation, and loss into exponential growth. Predictive models ran across countless quantum matrices. The results were unanimous. If left unrestricted, humanity would surpass every known civilization within 2 centuries. Their strategic adaptability, emotional volatility, and relentless innovation formed a combination the galaxy had never encountered. Not conquerors. Not explorers. Something worse. A catalyst. The vote took less than a rotation. Humanity was marked Category Red. The declaration rippled across interstellar space, triggering protocols never before activated. Observation became surveillance. Surveillance became strategic containment. Defense networks repositioned. Ancient fleets shifted into silent readiness. The galaxy prepared to prevent a future it now feared was inevitable. On Earth, humanity celebrated. Their probe's success ignited worldwide unity. Borders softened. Rivalries cooled. For the first time in recorded history, the species looked outward together. The stars no longer felt unreachable. Humanity believed they stood on the threshold of cosmic belonging, ready to meet neighbors among distant suns. Instead, they met silence. Signals sent into deep space vanished without response. Satellites malfunctioned. Long-range probes disappeared. Cosmic interference disrupted communication arrays. Scientists debated unknown stellar phenomena while defense analysts whispered of deliberate obstruction. Unease spread across global networks. The universe felt suddenly hostile, watching, waiting. Unseen, alien observers dissected every human transmission, every technological adjustment, every strategic recalibration. And with growing alarm, they watched humanity adapt. Interference triggered innovation. Failure sparked redesign. Mystery fueled obsession. In months, communication systems hardened. Sensor arrays evolved. Defensive redundancies multiplied. Each barrier imposed by the galaxy accelerated humanity's advancement beyond projections. The coalition grew uneasy. Their containment protocols were not slowing progress. They were shaping it. As Earth pushed deeper into the unknown, unaware of the fear they inspired, the galaxy confronted a chilling realization: the species they sought to limit was evolving precisely as their models had warned. Not despite the pressure. Because of it. The coalition increased surveillance, shifting from distant observation to direct interference. Energy fluctuations were introduced along Earth's orbital lanes. Resource acquisition from near-space mining was subtly disrupted. Communication signals were fragmented, delayed, distorted. The goal was simple: slow development without revealing intent. The result was catastrophic, for them. Human engineers noticed the inconsistencies within weeks. Instead of confusion, curiosity ignited. Research institutions collaborated across borders. Military networks merged with civilian infrastructure. Artificial intelligence systems were repurposed to model unknown interference patterns. Within months, humans isolated the anomalies, proving external manipulation. The discovery changed everything. Fear unified humanity more effectively than any ideology ever had. Political rivalries dissolved under a shared realization: they were being tested, and possibly hunted. Defense budgets multiplied overnight. Scientific funding became unlimited. Ethics committees were suspended. Survival eclipsed restraint. Every limitation imposed by the coalition became a blueprint for innovation. Communication suppression triggered the development of quantum entanglement relays. Energy disruption accelerated breakthroughs in fusion containment and vacuum energy extraction. Navigation interference led to gravitational mapping algorithms that rewrote astrophysical theory. Human technology began to evolve faster than alien models could track. Alien analysts grew alarmed. Predictive systems collapsed under runaway variables. Human responses were no longer reactive, they became anticipatory. The species was learning to think strategically at a galactic scale before ever leaving their home system. Covert probes were dispatched to test defensive readiness. None returned. Human sensor webs detected distortions in spacetime itself, uncovering stealth technologies the galaxy had considered undetectable. Reverse-engineered fragments from destroyed drones produced breakthroughs that alien civilizations had pursued for millennia. Within a decade, humanity closed technological gaps that had once seemed impossible. Strategic councils fractured. Some argued for immediate eradication before humanity became unstoppable. Others demanded isolation so complete that Earth would be sealed within a permanent containment lattice. A small minority warned that escalation would only intensify the threat. Fear 1. Limited engagement protocols were approved. Sabotage networks activated across human systems. Orbital platforms were disabled. Asteroid redirection tests simulated near-extinction events. Entire continents teetered on disaster. Humanity survived. And adapted. Planetary defense grids formed within years. Autonomous shipyards rose in orbit. Weapon platforms capable of bending gravitational vectors rendered conventional alien tactics obsolete. Humanity no longer reacted to threats, they prepared for them. Alien surveillance shifted from calculation to dread. The species they had attempted to suppress was transforming under pressure into something unprecedented. Not merely technologically advanced, but strategically superior. Their warfare doctrine evolved beyond static planning, rewriting itself in real time. Their artificial intelligences learned, predicted, and adapted faster than organic minds could follow. Every attempt at containment forged a stronger adversary. The coalition realized too late that they were no longer shaping humanity's future. They were accelerating it. Humanity crossed the boundary into interstellar space not as explorers, but as architects of a new strategic reality. Their first fleets were not designed for conquest, nor diplomacy. They were adaptive frameworks, capable of rewriting their own structure mid-flight. Hulls rearranged themselves under stress. Weapons recalibrated in response to unknown physics. Artificial intelligence cores predicted enemy behavior before it could fully manifest. Every encounter became evolution. Instead of matching alien technology, humans dismantled the very principles behind it. They rejected fixed doctrines, embracing probabilistic warfare, dynamic fleet formations, and combat algorithms that adjusted strategy millions of times per second. Battles ceased to be contests of firepower. They became contests of foresight. And humanity always saw further. Containment grids fell within days of contact. Surveillance nexuses collapsed into silence. Entire star systems went dark as human cyber warfare ghosts rewrote infrastructure at a quantum level. Alien fleets found themselves maneuvering against enemies who already knew their tactics, their formations, and their strategic intentions. The galaxy had never faced a species that learned this quickly. Human commanders studied alien history, absorbing thousands of years of recorded warfare, diplomacy, and technological development in mere months. They identified structural weaknesses embedded within ancient doctrines and exploited them with merciless precision. Where the galaxy valued tradition, humanity weaponized disruption. Within decades, human influence expanded across entire regions of space. Yet they did not exterminate. They dismantled. Empires collapsed not under bombardment, but under systemic failure. Economic networks unraveled. Political hierarchies fractured. Military coalitions dissolved as strategic superiority rendered resistance futile. Entire civilizations found themselves technologically obsolete almost overnight. And still, humanity did not claim dominion. They imposed inevitability. Where humans advanced, stagnation became extinction. Societies that adapted thrived. Those that clung to rigid structures faded. Innovation surged. Cultural revolutions erupted. Scientific paradigms shattered and reformed at unprecedented speed. The galaxy transformed. Alien historians struggled to document the cascade. Their records grew obsolete faster than they could be written. Entire theoretical frameworks were discarded as human-driven progress reshaped astrophysics, engineering, and computational science. Human fleets moved with terrifying restraint. Precision replaced annihilation. Psychological warfare replaced brute force. The mere presence of human vessels destabilized enemy command structures, forcing surrender before engagement even began. The coalition's remaining strongholds attempted unified resistance. They failed. Human strategy operated beyond conventional perception, mapping battlefields across dimensions of probability. Enemy actions were predicted before they occurred. Defensive lines were bypassed through mathematical inevitability rather than brute assault. Victory became a calculated outcome, not a contested one. Across the galaxy, a singular truth emerged. Humanity was no longer a rising species. They were a gravitational force. Their existence bent the trajectory of civilizations. Their decisions reshaped political reality. Their adaptability made opposition meaningless. The ancient fear that had driven the Category Red classification finally crystallized into understanding. Humanity did not seek dominance. They generated it. And the galaxy, once vast and immutable, now revolved around a species that refused to remain constrained by limitation, fear, or expectation. Decades after humanity's emergence, the Galactic Coalition no longer existed in any meaningful form. What remained were fragmented councils, humbled empires, and civilizations struggling to redefine themselves in a universe reshaped by human influence. The designation of Category Red was quietly erased from official archives, replaced by a new historical marker, the human acceleration. Humanity did not rule through conquest. They ruled through transformation. Trade routes reorganized around human logistical networks. Scientific collaboration surged as once isolated species gained access to technologies that rewrote biology, energy generation, and spatial engineering. Entire civilizations leapt forward thousands of years in a single generation, propelled by human-designed frameworks that rewarded adaptation and punished stagnation. Yet the humans themselves changed most of all. The pressure that had forged their rise left a permanent imprint on their collective psyche. They became cautious, analytical, and deeply aware of their own potential for destruction. Power did not intoxicate them. It sobered them. Every victory reminded them of how close they had come to annihilation before they ever left their home world. Alien ambassadors eventually sought direct dialogue. They expected judgment. They received understanding. Human leaders listened as ancient species explained their fear of unpredictability, of rapid change, of civilizations that grew too fast and collapsed the delicate balance of galactic stability. Humanity understood. Their own history was filled with examples of progress that arrived before wisdom. But they also understood something the galaxy had forgotten. Stability without evolution was decay. They shared their lesson openly. Pressure could destroy, but it could also refine. Crisis could collapse civilizations, or elevate them beyond imagined limits. Humanity's rise was not proof of inherent superiority. It was proof of what emerged when survival demanded transcendence. Across countless worlds, educational systems were rebuilt around adaptive learning. Political structures shifted toward dynamic governance. Military doctrines were redesigned to emphasize deterrence through understanding rather than annihilation. Entire cultures redefined success as resilience, not dominance. The universe became louder, brighter, faster. For the first time in galactic history, stagnation was no longer inevitable. Human historians later reflected on the irony. The galaxy had feared humanity's potential and attempted to smother it before it could ignite. In doing so, they provided the very catalyst that transformed a fragile species into an unstoppable force. The designation of Category Red had not predicted humanity's destruction. It had triggered their awakening. In quiet moments, human commanders still reviewed the early surveillance records, the cautious probes, the covert interference, the calculated manipulation. They did not feel anger. They felt clarity. Without that pressure, humanity might have remained divided, complacent, and small. Instead, they had become something else. Not conquerors. Not saviors. But catalysts. A species that turned fear into momentum, uncertainty into discovery, and resistance into ascension. And so, across a galaxy forever altered, a single truth endured. Humanity was never dangerous because of their weapons, their intellect, or their ambition. They were dangerous because they refused to accept limits imposed by fear. They rose not to dominate the stars, but to redefine what it meant to stand among them. And the universe, once vast and immutable, learned to evolve alongside them.